What if you die? You can die anywhere in the world, anytime. Hey, my name's Nika and I'm making a solo travel Q&A video as requested on my Instagram. I did like a poll on my Instagram asking so many of you whether you'd like to see a solo travel Q&A video. And you guys asked a lot of questions and I was like, okay, I guess I should. I just came back from a 6-month backpacking trip around Southeast Asia by myself. I was solo traveling for 6 months. I went to Indonesia just to visit my mom's family. I went to Australia for 3 weeks. I went to Thailand for 2 months, Myanmar for a month, Vietnam for 3 weeks, and then Singapore. And it was a trip of a lifetime. I look back and I think like I can't believe I experienced all of that in 6 months. And I just really feel so passionate about what I've experienced, and I really want to share my experience and share any information and be helpful to anyone that's interested in solo traveling. So I'm here to talk about it. So let's get started. So I feel like I should start off with why I think everyone should solo travel. Well, the reason why I solo travel is because I don't have friends. I'm kidding, I'm so kidding. Sorry to my friends, I don't actually mean it. But the reason why I solo travel was because I love being with myself and being in my own company. I also love meeting new people. What I've experienced is that when I'm traveling with my friends, I don't really meet people or engage with locals as much as I do by myself. And I think that's what really initiated me wanting to solo travel. Taking my time is a big one. I love that. So that's why I wanted to solo travel, was because I just love going with the flow more. I don't like planning things too much. I like to just see how I feel on the day. As much as I love traveling with my friends, you know, it's different traveling with your friends and being by yourself, because with your friends, like, you can go back home and you'll have someone to talk about, like, hey, remember when we did that thing? Yeah, that's the nice thing about traveling with friends, that you can always look back on it with someone. Like, it's your own trip. No one there is to tell you what to do, where you should go, how long you should be in place. Your moods aren't so dependent on how someone else feels. So that's one of the perks about solo traveling, is that it's your own trip. It's completely your own trip. You decide what you want to do, the hell you want to do. And also I think solo traveling really challenges you because you are just reliant on yourself. Where real growth comes is when solely thinking for yourself and your consequences. No one there is really there for you. Although you do meet so many lovely people, you do, but at the end of the day, it's your own trip, it's your own choices. So that's why I'm a big advocate for solo traveling, is just because it really surprised me, like little habits I had about myself that I never really noticed before. You will not regret it. Everyone should experience it once in their life, because you just learn so much about the world. I'm gonna go to the questions. How was my first solo travel experience? So actually this wasn't my first solo trip. My first solo trip was 2 years ago in Barcelona. I went for 4 days. I made lifelong friends that I'm still in contact with, and it was such a great time. Oh, and the second question is, how was my 6-month solo travel? If I was to really tell you everything, it would like need like a whole other paragraph in itself or another video in itself, but I'm gonna try to keep it short. It was a trip of a lifetime. I can really 100% say it was different to my first time for sure. And although it seemed like it was full of smiles and happiness and fun, it was all of that. It was also very challenging. It challenged me in all ways, emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. Yeah, and it also showed me that I was so much more stronger than I always thought I was, because I never really trust myself in the past. Like, I never listened to myself. So it really encouraged me to think for myself. It was a beautiful trip. There were still so many places I wanted to see. I really wish I got to see the Philippines. I guess that will be next time. Did I experience any language barriers? Not so much, actually. I think when it comes to the basic, it's easy to get by in Asia. If anything, you always have Google Translate, which I used a couple of times. However, I would say the country that I found most trickiest getting by was Myanmar, for sure. You know, I went to some pretty remote places with some people, and in those places, like, barely anyone speaks English at all. So I remember, like, me and my friend, we went to a restaurant. I didn't want to eat meat. My friend was like, oh, chicken? And he was like, huh? And my friend was like, bok, bok, bok. Literally in the restaurant, I was laughing, like, oh my god, because the thing is that Google Translate does not work for some languages like Burmese and Thai. It's really off. So in some scenarios, we'd have to like really act out what we meant, because the thing is that Myanmar only really opened up to tourism in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. Before that, it wasn't open to tourism. I would say that's the only place that I went to that I found quite challenging at times. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty easy to get by. And the next question is, how much did it cost to travel? Okay, so I didn't actually track every single penny, but I did a rough estimate. And in 6 months, 5-6 months, and in total I spent an estimate of £4,000, and that's including everything, including airplane tickets, visas, I just cracked my knuckle, everything, accommodation, food, everything, £4,000. My best advice to keep when traveling. Okay, so I'm gonna summarize this down to 3 points that I have. My first one is being aware of your surroundings, especially when you're solo traveling, because the thing is that you are only dependent on yourself. So that's my first tip, being aware of your surroundings, because no one else has your back, it's just you. Number 2, being street smart. And what I mean is that scams. There is a lot of scams out there, and sometimes it's so unavoidable. For example, taxis. When you get into taxi, always make sure to ask how much is it before you enter the taxi, because never ask at the end of the trip. I never had any bad experiences with taxis, because I always used to use Grab, which is an application which you have in Asia for booking taxis, like Uber over there. But I met some people who told me that he got charged like £40 for a 20-minute drive, and really you should only be paying £2 for things like that. So I think once you start traveling, you get into the hang of things, of like how things work and things like that. So, but I'm just gonna say, like, just always keep your wits about. And my third tip is bring more than one card. Most people that have traveled have experienced losing their card at least once. This time I brought 3 cards with me and I lost 2 of them. One of them I left at my auntie's house, and my second one, the cleaner threw it away by accident, which is another long story in itself. My third top tip is to always bring more than one debit card with you, because most people have lost their cards at least once. Did I meet any hot boys? I'm not gonna answer that question. Like, I'm not saying. But I met people, human beings out there, you know. Okay, my next question is, what's my plan now that I'm back? That's a very good question, because I asked myself that question too before, but I'm now at a space where I'm like, you know what, I think I know what my next steps are. First week of coming back to London. I love London, I do, it's my home, it has my heart. But the first week of being back in London was pretty tough, emotionally, mentally. Like, I felt so overwhelmed. Really, I was quite pessimistic the first week being here, not gonna lie. When you come back from solo traveling, I really advise, don't be too alone. Like, make sure you balance it out, have some time with your family, your friends. Also have alone time, of course. But of course, your friends and family is always there for you when you want someone to speak to. So I really recommend speaking to your family and friends. They really helped, and it made me realize, like, you know what, it's okay if I don't have all my shit sorted, and if I'm broke, there's no rush in getting to a destination. This is what I told myself. So right now I'm actually just focusing on financial stability after spending a lot of money, but it was completely worth it. Completely worth it. So yeah, I'm working on like financial stability and career progression right now. I'm working on, like, I've loved traveling, and I can't wait for the next time I get to travel again. But right now I'm taking a break from that and just focusing on financial stability and yeah, doing the other things that I really love. And I also really recommend, when you do feel this way in any time of life, not just when traveling, is always keep a list. When we get into like a state of feeling overwhelmed, we forget everything. We forget what the fuck it is that we actually want to do with our life. And so when you have like a notebook or a list or a mood board, anything, it just reminds you, like, wait, I do know what I want to do, and these are the steps. So I really recommend writing down with pen to paper, just to remind yourself, because when you're feeling like you're in a funk, it can be hard to recollect yourself. And now my next question is, how did I find the courage to start conversations with strangers? That's a really good question actually, and something I should address. Social anxiety when you're solo traveling is actually very real, and something that I experienced first time in a very long time, because if you know me, I'm a really sociable person. I'm a very open person. But I experienced like a handful of times where I actually experienced social anxiety having to communicate with people. I wouldn't say approaching people, but just carrying on conversations with people. And that's just a side about myself that I was quite surprised about. There was one scenario, actually the very beginning of my travels. It was in Australia, like the first couple of days of my solo trip. I was in a hostel, it was like night time and everyone was socializing, and I was texting my best friend like, oh my god, I'm feeling anxiety. How do I talk to people? Everyone's in their own groups. And she just encouraged me like, dude, I've been in the same boat as you. Everyone's been in the same boat as you. Just speak, because everyone's so friendly when you're traveling. So I was in this hostel and I saw these people everywhere in the social area, and I saw this guy with a group, and I was like, okay, this guy looks interesting. I was like, hey, where are you from? and then that's how we just started chatting away, and then I ended up talking to this whole group, and it was so easy, so much easier than being back home and making friends. Like, you will not have any troubles making friends. Like, honestly, like, I think travelers are some of the most friendliest people ever. So if you're ever afraid, or oh my god, I'm gonna be so alone, you are never alone, because you will meet someone that wants to talk to you. Now my next question is tips on saving money when traveling. Okay, I have 3 major tips, and my first tip is couch surfing. So if you don't know what couch surfing is, it's basically a website / community where people host their space for you to sleep in. It's basically that. They have their own profile, you can see their reviews and feedbacks, and I've done this a couple of times and it was a great experience. My first time was when I was in Australia. I stayed over in this guy's house. I slept on his couch, literally, and I chose this guy because he had lots of amazing reviews from other people, and I was like, this doesn't seem bad. And he was completely chill, completely friendly. He even offered me to stay the next night. He was a really nice guy. And the thing is that, yeah, it might sound dodgy, but the thing is that, you know, of course I wouldn't stay with someone that didn't have any reviews or much information on their profile. So, you know, of course, like, there are good and bad people everywhere, but in the day it's up to you to use your brain and think, does this seem safe or not? And then the second time I did it again with my friend Yasmin. Another great situation. Completely chill. Yeah, and yeah, so that's my first advice, is couch surfing. I did it in Australia because I really wanted to save money there. Yeah, that's my first advice, is couch surfing. And my second tip is Workaway. It's a website where you can look up volunteer experiences, usually for free. And they provide you accommodation, food, and I did this in Thailand. I volunteered on a farm and it was free, everything, in exchange of you doing work for them, and you actually learn a lot from these experiences. Okay, I fixed my hair. Didn't realize that it was looking like a hot mess. But yeah, so that's my second tip, Workaway. My third tip is tracking your spending. It wasn't up until I downloaded this app called TripCoin. It's amazing, I'm gonna show you. And it really revolutionized how I track my spending. And tracking your spending, basically, it helps you be aware of where your money is going to and how much you're spending on a daily. You'll be surprised about where your money goes. So yeah, that's my top 3 tips for saving money whilst you're traveling. My next question is, did I experience danger? Not at all. Well, actually, I felt more safer being in Asia than I feel in London sometimes. What if you die? You can die anywhere in the world, anytime. Yeah, not to burst your bubble, but you could die anytime. So my camera battery died and I decided to change my outfit because I wasn't feeling the other one, even though I'm near the end of my video anyways. But so my next question is, why did you only travel with only 7 kilograms? Really good question. The real reason is actually just because I wanted to save money on planes, so I didn't have to pay that extra charge because I'm a cheapskate like that. And secondly, I also really wanted to challenge myself with minimalism. Minimalism, is that how you say it? Yeah, I really wanted to challenge myself with that concept because it's something that I've been really into the past couple months. And it proved to me that actually it's so doable traveling with 7 kilograms for a couple of months. Like, you really don't need much. And the thing is that there's so many nice things that you're going to want to buy in Asia, and then you'd end up getting sick of your old clothes. So I really recommend everyone to try out, challenge yourself, like really try the minimalist life. I'm really bad in saying that word, but yeah, I really encourage everyone to try it out. My last question is, where's my next trip? So honestly, I have a list, but that list is gonna have to wait. I'm kind of superstitious in a way, so I don't want to really jinx things. I don't really want to say where I plan on going next because there's just so many as well. But I think it will have to be like 2021, the year of 2021. Was when I'm gonna be ready to jet off somewhere. I think next year I'll probably just do like short trips to places around Europe or the Middle East, but so I can't tell you what I'm planning, but until then. So those were all my questions about my southern travels. I hope I've answered all your questions well enough. Let me know anyways in the comment section if you have any more questions. And yeah, like I said, I really highly encourage solo traveling to every single person, if you can, when you can, even if just for a couple days, whatever. Oh my god, the lighting is so bad now. God. But yeah, I hope my video has convinced you or inspired you in some shape or form to really consider solo traveling one day, because it's something that you will not regret and you'll learn so much about the world and also yourself. So yeah, thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. This is my first ever YouTube video. Thanks, have a great day, bye.